Hello everybody, this is Miss Gigi and welcome to another Storytime snack. Today we are going to be reading the book Lift by Minh and Dan Santat. Now this book is about a little girl, an elevator, and a very magical button, and how she transports herself to all these fantastical places, and also having to share her experiences with her little brother. So stay tuned and let's get started reading this beautifully written book. And you can see here, this is our little girl. And here they are. Here she is with her parents and her little brother. And they are right in front of two elevator doors. One, of course, is out of service. Monday. Hi, my name is Iris. And look how she's looking up. Looking up at her tiger named Iris. Interesting. And here they are. They're at the elevator. When I'm feeling a bit down, there's one thing that always cheers me up. And as she's entering the elevator, she's looking at the elevator buttons. And what cheers her up? Pushing elevator buttons. Here she is. She pressed the button. Luckily, that's my job. Up or down, our floor, or the lobby. Tuesday. There they are. They're in the elevator and she presses the button. Wednesday. Here she is. Here's Iris pressing the elevator buttons. She's there with her mom. And look at her little brother looking over. I always get to push the buttons. Thursday. Getting ready to push the button. Until one day, look who's about to push the buttons. Betrayal! And as you can see, the parents are so excited that her little brother pushed the buttons. And they walk out of the elevator really happy, all except Iris, who is just stamping out of the elevator by herself. She doesn't look that happy. Friday, they're in front of the elevator. Looks like they're about to leave their floor. And as the door opens, it makes what sound is that? And you could see she's getting ready to push the buttons. And then you see a finger. Betrayed again! Enough is enough, she says. I know it's wrong, but I can't help myself. I push all the buttons. And then her parents scream out, Iris! You can see. And now ding, they're not so happy now. And with each floor, they seem to get frustrated. The only one that's happy here is her little brother. He's all happy that he's listening to the sounds. They're just so not happy. They finally get out of the elevator and they're onto the lobby, and they step out. And there's the elevator repairman. The dad seems to be walking away, and Iris and her mom and her little brother stay behind. At the bench, she notices the elevator repairman throw something in the garbage. Elevator man, of course, turns around and plays with kids, because who doesn't want to play with a baby? And so Iris looks over at the garbage can, and then she notices something amazing. Look how her eyes open up. What do you think is in the garbage can? That's right. It's an elevator button. She grabs it. She looks around to see if anybody's looking. And then her mom calls out her name, Iris! And I guess her dad is outside waiting for them. So Iris grabs the elevator button and then darts out just to meet up with her mother. So when they get back home, I just want to be alone. She goes and opens her closet door, and then she throws her book bag in. And then she closes the door. And then she remembers that she had the elevator button in her pocket. Then she tapes it to the wall, and she says, I wish I could be anywhere but here. And so she presses the elevator button and then turns around and walks away, when all of a sudden, her eyes open wide. She's surprised. She turns around, and then she sees the light. Her closet door turns into an elevator and then transports her to this jungle-like place. Iris gasps. She starts walking around in the jungle, and then she encounters a tiger. But then she hears a sound. It's the doorbell ringing. So she turns around, leaves, and then goes back into her apartment, and then the elevator door sounds again. And then as she's ready to turn and close her magical closet, she hears the roar of a tiger. But she closes the door, and it makes a click sound. And you could see here that some of the leaves from that jungle forest are still in the room. So Iris then goes to her living room, or to the entrance, and there she sees her parents. They seem really dressed. And there's her babysitter. Hi, she says. But Iris notices that there's still leaves from the forest, that jungle, so then she quickly dusts it off. And then her parents, they seem to be going back, and her dad says, we'll be back soon, sweetie. Love you. And then they walk out the door. So Iris looks, and she notices her brother holding the stuffed animal that I think used to be hers, because as you could see by the name Iris. And then the stuffed animal gives her an idea. It reminds her. So now she's ready to go back to her room, back to that jungle forest she was in. But then you hear the babysitter say, "Hang on, first dinner, and then I brought games." Oh, her little brother's so excited. Yeah, at dinner time, it looks really chaotic. It looks crazy. Her little brother is throwing food around. And yeah, poor Iris, she just doesn't want to be there at all. I bet she wants to go back to that forest. And then here, they're playing board games, but it's really hard to play board games with your baby brother. Look at all the chips just flying about. And then, getting ready for nap time, Iris is brushing her teeth along with the babysitter, and then there's the cat. And her little brother's just looking up as she's brushing. So as Iris is in bed, her babysitter and her little brother are there. And the little brother says, "Night, night." And then he holds the tiger out. And he pushes it right into Iris's face. And I guess Iris has to kiss the tiger goodnight. Mwah! Babysitter and her little brother are getting ready to close the door. And just when they close the door, Iris opens one eye. And you can see just as the door closes, and it makes that sound, click. She gets up from her bed and says, "Finally." And then she goes over to the elevator button, and then she clicks it. Click. And then the elevator button, the light turns on, and it makes that ding sound. And then all of a sudden, things start to float in her room. You can see the pencil and a wooden block. Her teddy bear. The pencil's already floating up by her face. And then soon, she starts to float. The whole room starts to float. And then her closet door begins to open. And then the light shines. And then her eyes starting to open wide. And she's in space. A space station. Iris gasps. She's in a spaceship floating. And then she floats to a spacesuit. She puts it on. And then she's at the escape hatch. The light turns red. And then you hear the opening of the escape hatch. And it makes the psh sound. And then all of a sudden, Iris starts floating out to space. Everything looks so much bigger, so much space. She's now floating over the land. As she's floating into space, she hears a sound, a very familiar sound. She hears it over the intercom in her suit. And then she turns around. And then she pulls herself back into the escape hatch, takes off her astronaut suit, And then she sees the closet, and you can hear the sound. So Iris floats in towards the wailing sound. Her feet begin to touch the floor, and then everything starts to fall down into place, all the objects in her room. She walks out of the room and, right into her brother's room. And then Iris has an idea, and she says, I know exactly what you want. She goes and grabs a book, and then she sits with her little brother to read. And then the babysitter just walks away. I guess the babysitter couldn't calm her little brother down. But you could see here her little brother is nice and calm and is sitting with her sister. Saturday, she's in bed, and there you could see the cat hovering over her ear. She yawns, and then she remembers. And then she walks out. And in the morning, I wake up excited for my next visit. And then she goes over to the elevator button. But then something holds me back, she says. And then she looks on the ground. And there she sees a popsicle stick frame with a picture of her and her little brother. And she thinks, And then she leaves her room and she walks back. Where do you think she's going? And she opens the door. And guess who's awake? Her little brother. And he says, up, up. So she grabs him and they walk across the room, the hall, and into Iris's room and in front of the magical elevator. She picks up her brother and lets him push the button. And she says, after all, everyone can use a little lift sometimes. And here you could see the elevator button light turn on, and it makes the sound. And then the closet suddenly transforms, and it turns bright, and they both gasp. Where do you think it transported them? And then they go, and they transport it somewhere. And then here, you could see even the cat is about to follow them. And so the elevator transports them to another magical place, a snowy mountain cap. And here they are, outside, walking towards the peak of the snow-capped mountain. And then here's the cat. The end. I hope you enjoyed the book Lift, written by Minh and illustrated by Dan Santat. Tune in for more Storytime snacks. The schedule will be posted below. And if you have any questions, we also have an email that you could send your questions or comments. And I hope to see you soon. And once again, my name is Miss Gigi signing out. See you next time. Goodbye, everybody.